took a look at opportunities last time, but what does opportunities have anything to do with our title, success? Well, you could say that success is finding opportunities and taking advantage of them, or more simply, seeing and seizing opportunities. Jesus continues with his disciples about these opportunities, about the opportunity that's presented to them. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. See, we have to understand what is happening in vineyards. Vines are being cut away because they don't produce fruit. And when we read this and we see that Jesus is speaking these words, this may cut at us. We may be thinking, man, we expect this from our culture that is success driven. But from Jesus saying that we're going to be cut off if we don't have fruit? What is going on here? Because in our culture, success is a god. We see this in sports. Baseball. They were taking steroids like crazy. Why? Success. Coaches get fired left and right. Why? They don't have instant success. Students, you feel this with all the homework and the pressures that's put on you because everybody wants you to have success. In the business world, heads roll if we don't see results, and we see them now. But we have to understand, remember the backdrop that Jesus was speaking about. In the Old Testament, it was about the Israelites looking good but being sour. It's about the Pharisees looking good but being sour. Judas is also an example of this. He looked good. He walked with Jesus for 3 years. He had a great title, a great position. He was the treasurer of all the money that came in. He also looked spiritual. He talked about how they could have used money for perfume that was used on Jesus. He talked about how that money could have been used for the poor. He looked spiritual. But on the inside, he was sour. See, it's about being fake that God cuts off. But see, there's another aspect to the vineyard. It's the branches that do produce fruit. But what's interesting is that he doesn't give praise to this necessarily, but he talks about what happens. And it's not warm fuzzies. He says they get pruned. They get cut themselves. And the disciples are prime examples of this. We see early on in their ministry with Jesus that they find some success. And then they go through this sophomoric curse where it seemed like everything they touched went wrong. And then in just a matter of a few hours from Jesus talking and saying these things, they are going to run away and deny their Lord. See, pruning in the vineyard world is cleansing. It's about cleaning the vines off. And Jesus says that it is my words that clean you. Because when we are put up against the words of Christ and the words of the Bible, it is those words that cut to our heart and cut out everything in our lives that does not produce, and it gets in the way of producing fruit if we let it. The opportunity is this, that we have the chance to be a part of the perfect vine and let the perfect vineyard keeper take care of us. The vine is the conduit that the nutrients that we need to survive run through to the branch. That's the opportunity that we have before us. See, pruning is hard. It's difficult. We feel like we're in the middle and going through a time of pruning. A time where God is cutting away the stuff in our life that is excess. And we are looking forward to a time that our lives produce more fruit than before because of this pruning process. But right in the middle of it, it is painful, it is difficult, but it is necessary. And Jesus is getting through to his disciples that the conditions are right. The opportunity is before them. What do they want to do with it? He wants them to come to the point where they're asking the question, how do I not be fake? How do I seize this opportunity and be authentic with my life? How is my life supposed to be different? But what about you? What about me? What about us sitting right here with our real lives? Do we want our lives to be different in 2012?